Pretend I knew nothing about technology and you had to describe it to me.
The most prevalent device in existence today to store digital data is a disk. You know, it can record a stream of bits, and you can tell start recording here and recording there, and not much else. So in order to translate that language of the very dumb physical hardware device that all understands the stream of data bits that you can record to it, there's a huge layer of software in between that translates all this complex, you know, tree-like structures and pictures, and the notion that one file is actually a picture, the other file is Excel, that is the Word document. It translates into that stream of bits that are understood by the disk devices. So when your laptop dies, I mean, at the end of the day, but what you care about is that your data, everything you have in there, doesn't die, doesn't go away. So how do you deal with the issues that you have backups, right?
Right.
Okay, how do you do backups? You know, a whole bunch of software. You want your backups to be totally invisible. At the same time, if your computer dies and your backups are missing, you're probably going to be even more crazy in that respect, right, and more desperate, you know, whatever. I hope this never happens. So anyway, so the notion, for example, of creating backup software, the software that kind of satisfies those requirements, being invisible and reliable at the same time, is also an example of storage software. Our customer would be people who put together small businesses, small data centers, and they would kind of use our software for the core storage management, and we kind of provide all the correct data streams and
the communication between all those functions.
Yeah, correct.
So you work for Veritas Software.
Veritas Software Corporation.
And Veritas means?
Truth in Latin.
Okay. Which was merged with Symantec in 2005.
Correct.
You worked there for 12 years.
Yes.
Why did you decide to leave?
Actually, in retrospect, I think I spent about 3 years too long there. Because, you know, company grows, and at the end of the day, you suddenly realize that your challenges are not the challenges you care about. Your challenge is about internal politics. Your challenge, you know, like there's a big corporation begins to work on itself a lot. It's just at some point you suddenly realize that you cannot make that much of a difference in what you do. Once company reaches a certain size, that you end up, it lives by different laws and by different rules. Mm-hmm. And
you didn't enjoy that.
And it's just I didn't enjoy that. And in some ways I realized that I probably am a startup guy by nature. I've always been kind of maverick. All kind of things, and you know, I just didn't fit into the corporate culture.
How did Mark Davis convince you to leave a paying job back in 2007 and join him? So tell me how it started. You weren't working. Was Mark working? Was there a
No, Mark wasn't working. Mark, he was a CEO at a company called CreekPath. Mm-hmm. Serge was a VP of engineering at PowerFile. Our third sort of a partner in crime, co-founder of the three of us.
What's his name?
Serge Pashenkov. So we started spending a lot of time together. Kind of discussing, sharing ideas. Serge's garage, Café del Doge, Mark's bedroom.
I have fear of failure,
right?
Fear of judgment that I'm not good enough. You know, I mean, I'm just asking, did you have that? Is my question.
Well, everybody has that in certain ways. Imagine if everybody tells you, "Oh, such a cool idea! You guys are geniuses," and all that. Then I'm asking, like, okay, if everybody thinks I'm a genius, how come nobody's doing that?
Right.
It's like, so those guys are telling me that they just don't get it. I mean, they don't get it, or they just, you know.
Right.
And the trick is you want to make mistakes, but you want to make them very fast, and you want to learn them very fast. Mm-hmm. Confidence opens the doors. But once you open the door, you'd better be ready to do something that's behind that door once you walked in.
Right.
But you needed to open it.
Right. You said that you are definitely a startup type of guy.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Why do I say that, or why do I...
Explain why do you think that is?
Well,
because you came from corporate.
Well, it's yes and no. I mean, the thing is, I came to a startup. The startup grew to a corporate. I never quite kind of came to understanding what it was. I was always kind of a little bit on the outside. And I was really kind of, in many ways, in the last several years, I may be extremely unhappy there on the balance because of this corporate thing. And I was always doing all kind of maverick projects, getting myself into trouble.
Do you think the startup environment is a more liberal environment?
Oh, definitely. The thing is that you have to believe that you'll be able to find out things you don't know right now. That's kind of the bottom line is. I mean, if anybody thinks they know everything, or if anybody comes out and all those analysts and make those projections about the world for 5 years, they're full of it because nobody knows what's going to happen.
Why the United States of America and why not Russia?
It's just Russia is, it's a different, I mean, back then the Soviet Union, it's just a different country. It disappeared. That society went into where it belongs in history, which is fine. Russia is another country. It's never been mine. I mean, this is home, so this is very simple.
Okay. Last question. If you had to give advice to future entrepreneurs or young kids who want to start their own business, what would that advice be?
Just do it. This is probably one of the most exciting things you can do.
You're going to be judged.
You're always judged. Just don't judge yourself. And as long as kind of realize what you're doing and understand the potential dangers, and again, have the sort of confidence that you can handle that, and actually live up to the confidence, then that's okay.
I think we're done.